TCP IP, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. We are taking multiple choice questions on it. Which of the following services use TCP? So here you see also in the diagram, the option is B, that is 2, 3 and 5. So SMTP, HTTP and FTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, File Transfer Protocol and Hypertext Transfer Protocol. All these use Transmission Control Protocol, TCP. We'll be talking about that TCP shortly. So this is actually a connection oriented, reliable. This comes under the TCP IP suite. So what layer in the TCP IP stack is equivalent to the transport layer of the OSI model? Now this is the OSI model. You have 7 layers: AP, ST, NDP, and TCP IP we have AHIN. So host to host is related to transport, or you can say equivalent. Same way the application is equivalent to application, presentation and session. Which of the following describe the DHCP, discover message? So we'll just talk about DHCP, but let us understand this question first. So we are talking about which of these describe the DHCP discover message. So you are taking the dynamic IP address from the network. So that is how DHCP works. So you see here the answer is B. B is 1 and 2. It uses this FFF as a layer 2 broadcast, and it uses UDP as the transport layer protocol. So a client sends out a DHCP discover message because it want to get an IP address, sends out a broadcast at both layer 2 and 3. Layer 2 broadcast in all Fs, which you see here in hexadecimal. The layer 3 broadcast in 255s, which means all networks and all hosts. DHCP is connectionless, which means it uses user datagram protocol or UDP at the transport layer, host to host layer. You want to implement a mechanism that automates the IP configuration, including IP address, subnet mask, default gateway and DNS information. Which protocol will you use to accomplish this? We just talked about DHCP. DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So this is a network management protocol, and where it is used in the IP networks, Internet Protocol networks, for automatically assigning. You don't have to feed in the IP. Automatically assigning IP addresses, and there are other communication parameters which you see in the question also, to devices which are connected to the network using a client-server architecture. Okay, so the answer now it is clear to you. This is C. DHCP is used to provide IP information to hosts on your network. So it allows hosts to dynamically obtain the IP address from the network server, as I said, client server, when it joins the network. So there are certain ways it can be done. This is a host broadcast DHCP discover message, and then DHCP server respond to the DHCP offer message. Host request IP address and DHCP request message, and then we have DHCP server, it sends address, which is a DHCP have this ACK, acknowledgement message. So it allow reuse of address also, only hold address while connected and on. This is DHCP. Which of the following is a private IP address? So you see here the list of public address range and the private address range. So the private has certain range, start address and finish address. So if you see here the private address, the last one you see the D one. So if you see the class A private address, it range from 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. Class B private address range is 172.16.0.0 through 772.31.255.255, and class C private address range is 192.168.00 till 192.168.255.255. D belongs here. Which of the following allows a router to respond to an ARP request that is intended for a remote host? Now see here. The answer here is proxy ARP, address resolution protocol. So proxy ARP, this is a technique by which a proxy server on a given network answers the ARP, address resolution protocol queries for an IP address that is not on the network. That is called proxy ARP. So the proxy is aware of the location of the traffic destination and offers it its own MAC address as the destination. So this is how this proxy ARP works. You see in the diagram also. So this answer is answer C. So proxy ARP can help machines on subnet reach remote subnets without configuring the routing or even a default gateway. Okay. So it answers the ARP queries for an IP address that is not on that network. A DoD model, also the TCP IP stack, has 4 layers. Which layer of DoD model is equivalent to the network layer of the OSI model? So APST NDP, this is OSI, and this TCP IP model, the application is basically application, presentation and session combined of OSI. Host to host is a transport. Now the question is, which is equivalent to the network? So the internet is equivalent to the network. So we have this C. And of course, the network access corresponds to the data link and the physical. That is how we call them layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. Which of the following services use UDP, User Datagram Protocol? Let me tell you, UDP is the connection less unreliable kind of protocol in this TCP IP suite, and it is a transport layer protocol. So mainly the audio, video, all this is used. So TCP, you want a reliable connection. So user datagram protocol is a communication protocol that is primarily used to establish low latency and loss tolerating connections between applications on the internet. So we are talking about some pixels or some packets. It's okay if we lose it, but we want faster kind of communication. UDP speeds up the transmission by enabling the transfer of data before an agreement is provided by the receiving party. That is why UDP is beneficial in time-sensitive communications, including the voice over IP, VoIP, and domain name system lookup, and video and audio playback, as I was suggesting you. So let us see the answer here. The answer is answer A. DHCP, SNMP, TFTP, they use UDP. For example, FTP, HTTP and SMTP, they all use the TCP. DHCP, SNMP, TFTP use this UDP. Which class of IP address provides a maximum of only 254 host addresses per network ID? Now this is the whole table of class A to class E. We have all the numbers here, the leading bits, net ID bits, host ID, number of networks, etc. Now the host ID bit for class C is 8. Okay, and so the answer here is class C. Class C network address has only 8 bits, and how much it can define? 2 to the power 8 minus 2, which is 254. So the answer here is class C. If you use either Telnet or FTP, which is the highest layer you are using to transmit data? See, Telnet and FTP, they both are the application layer protocols. This is Telnet, file transfer protocol. Even though they are using the TCP, they use the TCP at the transport layer. They both are the application layer protocol. So the application layer will be the perfect answer. So that is why our option will be A. Okay. Which of the following is the decimal and hexadecimal equivalence of binary number? This one. So I hope you'll be able to do it. I'll just give you a hint here. For say decimal, how do you convert this? So the answer is B here. So I'll just tell you one of these, how to do this. See, this is, let us take this. This is 2 to the power 0. This is 2 to the power 1. 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. 2 raised 3, 2 raised 4, 2 raised 5, 2 raised 6, 2 raised 7. Okay, this is 1. Then we discard this. Then this one we take as 4. This also is there. So 8, then 16. Then we don't have 32 or 64. We have directly 128. We just add it. And that is going to be 157. That is how first has come. The other options, the other also explanation I have given. So you can just have a look and you can just find it out. Which statements are true regarding ICMP packets? So ICMP, so this is the header, and see, ICMP is embedded in IP. So ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol. Internet Control Message Protocol. This is a network layer protocol used by the network devices, and this is to diagnose the problem issues, network communication issues. So this ICMP is mainly used to determine whether or not the data is reaching its intended destination in a proper timely manner. Internet Control Message Protocol. So commonly this ICMP protocol is used on network devices like the routers. And this is very crucial for error reporting and testing. But it can also be used for DDoS, that is distributed denial of service attacks. ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. So the answer here is 3 and 4. They can provide hosts with information about network problems as we just discussed, and they are encapsulated within the IP datagrams, which you see in the picture also. That is, every segment of ICMP or this ICMP payload, it has to be encapsulated, embedded within an IP datagram or the packet. That is how Internet Control Message Protocol is used to send error messages throughout the network, but they don't work alone. They have to be encapsulated in IP. Which of the following are layers in the TCP IP model? So TCP IP model, okay, see here. You can just remember it by AHIN. Application, host to host, internet, and network access. So the answer is, which one? B. B is 134. Application, the host to host, which is equivalent to your transport also, you can say. So application, internet, the answer is B, 134. Which layer 4 protocol is used for telnet connection? Layer 4 protocol. So see, telnet, it uses TCP and IP, but the question is specifically asking about layer 4, and IP works at layer 3. Okay, it works at layer 3. So telnet uses TCP at layer 4. Which statements are true regarding ICMP packets? So ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. So this is a network layer. We have already talked about this. So the answer is 2 and 3. ICMP can provide host with information about network problems. It has to be encapsulated within the IP datagrams. Which of the following are TCP IP protocols used at the application layer of the OSI model? Okay, we already discussed about that. So the answer is C here, 3, 4, 5. 5. Telnet, File Transfer Protocol, and TFTP, Trivial FTP. What protocol is used to find the hardware address of a local device? Hardware address, that is, you need to know the MAC address. That is the Address Resolution Protocol. ARP is the answer. So this is a communication protocol This is used to find the MAC, that is the media access control. MAC, media access control address of a device from its IP address. So getting the MAC address from the IP address, who does it? Or which protocol does it? ARP. So this protocol is used when a device wants to communicate with another device on a local area network or an Ethernet. So in the figure also you see how does ARP provides the MAC address from the IP address. So the answer will be B, right? So this MAC is the unique hardware address. IP can be assigned like DHCP, it can be assigned. Okay, so address resolution protocol is used to find hardware address from a known IP address. Which of the following protocol uses both TCP and UDP? TCP also and UDP also. Okay. Can you tell me the answer? It is DNS. DNS, domain name system, domain name server, domain name service. So this DNS uses TCP for what? Zone exchanges between the servers, and UDP when a client is trying to resolve a host name to an IP address. So in both ways it is the domain name this system is using both of these TCP as well as the UDP. What is the address range of class B network address in binary? So now you have this picture, you know it. You just have to convert it into binary because we already have the numbers here. So the range of class B network address is 128 till 191. Class B is 128 till 191. So 128 to 191, that means 10, and then we have other numbers. So C is the correct answer here. Now there are a few more questions we'll be taking, and that will be we will do in the later discussions. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.